school counselors are people who are uniquely trained to make a difference in reducing barriers to learning. But in so many of our schools, they are used as administrators or in many cases as substitute teachers and used in other ways that are not directly in relationship to working with kids. Comprehensive school counseling programs are data-driven, they are proactive, and they are prevention-based rather than being reactive or crisis-oriented. We believe that school kids, and I use the word kids very affectionately, I hope that's okay, school children and young people deserve school counselors who are able to respond to their academic, their career, and their personal social needs, their developmental needs, and who also are able to help young people in being career, college, life ready, to help them develop personal goals and to help them work toward achieving those goals. We believe that a comprehensive school counseling programs will result in improvements in academic achievement and in school climate in areas such as attendance, such as behavior, and such as school safety. And I would be glad to answer any questions you might have, or at least to try to.
All right, you have before you House Resolution 552 on the counseling program, urging the counselors to the schools to use their counselors as indicated by the National Council Association and other state agencies. So do I have any questions? I see none. Do I have a motion? I have a motion to pass. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any questions? All in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. Do pass. It's in rules, and so you can take it on out. Now, this one's fine. You can go ahead and do this one. Resolutions can be moved. All right. The second bill, Representative Dudgeons, what's your second bill you're bringing up today? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Academic Sports Committee recommends that Senate Bill 68 do pass as amended by the committee.
All right. Senate Bill 68, and we have a substitute. We have two substitutes, I think, don't we, Representative Dudgeons?
We have the LC ending 5182, which came out of the committee, and we have a new substitute 5225.
Has that been passed out, Courtney? Has it been passed out?
Oh, yeah.
The one I gave, the last one's been passed out. Have you passed out? Okay, it's out. All right, yeah. What's the number on that one? That's the one. 5225. All right, that's been passed out. Okay. All right, I don't have that one, so I was saying. I don't have a copy of it, so I was wondering. All right, thank you. Okay. So we're going to be working. Senator, have you seen that? Where you'll know what happened from the last committee, we had an amendment that I was offering. Representative Dudgeons offered an amendment, and I added, Barbara Sims had a bill, and I rolled her amendment into here too, so that's what we're working at, that one. So that's rolled in too, but it's not rolled into the back. I just rolled part of the language in, hers in there, so that's what we're working on. So we need to be sure that Senator Liggins has a copy of it too. Okay, you do. So if you'll come to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, would you prefer that I talk about my bill or the subject?
Well, let's talk about this one, and you can comment what you want to when from the bill.
All right.
You can say what you don't like or you like.
All right, I will.
I'm giving you that right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Senate Bill 68 has several parts. The first is to encourage, to ask school systems to give approximately 3 hours of instruction in September during the week in which Constitution Day falls on our Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and founding principles. And it also asks students to read one book of that era within the school year. It also, the substitute that passed out of the subcommittee recommends that students recite excerpts from the Declaration of Independence, the preamble from the First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, or from the 14th or 19th Amendments. It also encourages posting of certain historical documents that are significant for the founding of our nation. And then finally, it requires the department to create an online resource page which to address these issues and to provide teachers with ideas and lesson plans about the founding era. On your desk, you have a folder which has a handout, and it gives you an example of what's been done in other states as far as the online resource. And you can see the state of Oklahoma has a very good resource page. It draws upon information that's already available from good, solid, reputable resource pages, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel on this. The fiscal note indicates that this would cost $10,000 to $15,000 to create this web page, and so it certainly is cost effective.
And the states agreed to do that, so there'd be no problem.
Yes, sir.
Don't need additional appropriations.
We don't need additional appropriations. They can handle this.
All right.
With so much available, it may not even cost them that much. And I also included just some articles for your review. One is from the Wall Street Journal by David McCullough, where he's lamenting the fact that our high school seniors across the nation really aren't grasping our history and our heritage, and we need to focus on that a little bit more. Then there's another handout from the indicated that in 2010, the NAEP test found that only 12% of our high school seniors really had a firm grasp of our nation's history. And this is not asking a lot. It's just saying for at least 3 hours during that week, we could focus on this. And Mr. Chairman, moving into the substitute, my bill says that the original bill said that the school systems shall have that instruction, and it said approximately 3 hours to give some leeway. And I know that the substitute says that they're encouraged, and I know we normally don't like to mandate that our school systems teach any particular thing, but this is something that's just right at the core and the heart of who we are as a nation. And there's such reports out there that we really aren't getting it, and there's so much of a focus on everything else. And surely we can take 1 week where we ask for 3 hours of instruction in this area. And it's not even 3 hours, it says approximately 3 hours. There's something that's just so important and critical. We as a body can do that. We give $13 billion a year for education. We could ask that one thing. And I know the substitute's been offered, but I really ask us just to take this step and ask that it be done and keep the bill as it came out of the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have any questions, all right? Number 13, all right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator, when you were presenting this bill before the subcommittee, or when you first introduced the legislation, did you get any pushback from anybody on this?
No, sir. We worked with the Department of Education on this. There were initial concerns. We addressed their concerns. We made adjustments to the bill, and I understood that they were okay. They're okay with it.
I was not at the subcommittee meeting. I had another meeting I had to be at. But what were some of the things that they were concerned about that you addressed in the bill?
Well, in the bill initially, the way it was worded, it appeared as if we were trying to change curriculum and rewrite. I mean, they felt that it could have been interpreted that way. That certainly was not the intent. And they were concerned that they might have to redo the history books and social studies books. So we went in and addressed those changes in the language to make it clear that that's not where we were going. And I think there was they needed some clarification on the online resource side, and we were able to provide that information and show them that this is not this massive undertaking that it may appear to be.
I was just curious because several years ago I tried to introduce legislation that would have us on February the 12th study Georgia history for 1 day, and I got a lot of pushback on that. So I was just wondering if you had any problems with that. Now that I see there's no pushback, I might reintroduce mine next year.
Wasn't it true, though, Senator, that when you say there was no pushback, that they said they didn't mind, but they were doing all this. It was everything you had in here was already in the curriculum, but your concern was that it was not necessarily offered
right. And this,
together.
Together, and this ties an important subject matter together, and allows us to focus on this during that week when we celebrate Constitution Day.
Yeah. Reverend Dudgeon, if it's in your subcommittee, could you comment what the? Okay. Okay. Who's the question? All right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I like what you're doing here because our students need to learn more about civics and geography and those kinds of things as well. But how do you plan to incorporate other parts of history, Native American, African American, Italian immigrants? How do we plan to do that? Because all of these groups were important to the development of the United States of America and this place we call home.
Well, we have our history classes. This is focusing on the ideas that brought us together, that brought these groups here, and that made us all Americans. I mean, this is what this is about. This is about our understanding of the principles stated in the Declaration of Independence and how our Constitution was written and framed to protect those principles that apply to all people. That's what has made this nation attractive, and that's what we want to make sure that we know and understand. And certainly, teaching our history about how we developed as a nation and the different peoples and groups that came here and formed our nation, that's important, and that should be taught in history. I believe that we need to place a little bit more emphasis on history as a whole. And so this is just one tiny aspect, but I believe to be a key aspect of our national history.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Yes.
Would you agree that would you agree that the original ideas of the Constitution is actually what brought other folks here either by choice or not by choice?
I know what, yes, sir. There were people that were brought here by choice. There were people that were brought here, and it was not by their choice. Just because a people or a nation misses a truth and doesn't live out of truth doesn't mean that it's not true. We've made mistakes as a nation, and certainly we need to understand those mistakes, study those mistakes, acknowledge them, so that we don't make the same mistakes again. But our mistakes don't negate a truth.
And on the surface, I agree with you on what you're doing.
All right. Anyone else? All right.
Chairman's asked me to comment on the amendment in my subcommittee. On my amendment, there's three main sections, as the senator said. There's the 3-hour requirement. There was the recitation requirement. There's the ability to post historical documents. Actually, 4 sections. Then there's the website. And the change made in our committee was to change the recitation from a requirement to a recommendation. And I feel comfortable with that. The substitute would also change. The substitute, which was not on the subcommittee, would also change the 3-hour requirement into a encouragement. My personal opinion, just as a chair member, is I'm comfortable with the 3-hour requirement. I don't like mandating curriculum, but as the senator says, I tend to think this subject is of such vital importance, and there's so much evidence that we're not doing as good a job as we need to, that my personal member of a committee, I'm comfortable with the 3-hour requirement. I just wanted to get that on the record.
Any other comments? Any other comments? All right, my comment. As I said, as we left the subcommittee, you remember I put that other amendment in because it came out of Barbara Sims, because we refused to put any specific time in hers, and we made this one like that. When I mentioned to the committee I would. Remember, we had a amendment, but it was the same amendment on both sides, so it got kind of confusing. So that's why. So it's up to the members of this committee what you would like to do. So I'll leave it up to you. All right. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? We've had comments in the subcommittee from the audience, which we will not entertain today. Anybody else in the committee have any recommendations or any comments? All right. Do I have a motion? All right. I have 13. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Benton.
I'd like for us to put the original language of the required 3 hours back in there.
So you're saying you want to move. That's why you're saying you want to move back to 5182. If you look at that, 5182, you have that one, 5182, and please, Representative Dudgeon, says that came out of yours. If you would explain that one.
82, Mr. Chairman, on operative words, line 16, Freedom Week shall include approximately 3 hours of instruction, as Senator indicated. That was the only difference between this and the 5225. And so that would be, I think the appropriate motion would be to move due pass 335182 if the committee so willed to do that.
I have number one. All right. Representative Maxwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think there's a couple of changes there that the Senator pointed out. That 5182, it says shall include the approximately 3 hours language, and then on line 18, the instruction shall include, and on the 5225, it says the line 16, local school systems are encouraged to include, and then line 17 said the instruction may include. So that's a couple of changes. The shalls today.
Can I ask Betsy? Yeah. In other words, what I hear Representative Benton saying is that he wants to go back to LC 5182S. Is that what I hear you saying?
I don't put words in your mouth. I'm just wanting to make the requirement.
Well, I'm saying, is that what you're recommending?
Yes.
Is that?
It's the subcommittee version.
All right. Is that what I hear you're saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do I have is that a motion you're making?
Making that as a motion to amend.
All right. I have a motion to, because we were dealing with, Betsy, help me out. And we would do. I can't do. I have to amend the one we were dealing with, don't I? We can just move past this one, then, can't we? Okay, good. All right. So instead of doing that, you can move. Do I hear a motion on the movement of one of these substitutes?
Move due pass LC 5225.
No.
But won't 5225, won't that cut out the other two that have been added?
No, it's going back.
Okay, all right. Then let me see that. All right. Mr. Chairman, I move due pass LC 5282S.
All right. Do I have a second? I have a second. I have a question. Yes, sir. Number 6. All right.
Move LC 335182S. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're the motion is to move LC 335182S. Is that correct? All right. The motion is to move LC 335182S. Do I hear a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Any discussion on that one? All right. If not, all in favor of the motion to do pass LC 335182S indicate by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. It is passed. Okay. All right. Let's.
Thank you, Mr.
All right.
Chairman
Let's.
and members
Thank
of the
you.
committee.
Okay. It's gone to Roots. All right.
Thank
It'll be in there. Well, if we're lucky, you'll get there before 5 o'clock, so you can go. Who's carrying it? Earlier. Okay. All right, one thing you need to realize that senators forgot, we got a couple of bills being held up. You have to go and request your bill from Keith in rules and get it on the blue sheet, and then you have to go ask for it, even though Earl's carrying it. Okay. All right, Senator. All right, now what's your next recommendation? Representative Dudgeons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Academic Support Committee recommends that Senate Bill 100, LC 334905, do pass.
All right. Senator Wilkinson. Are y'all finished over there in the Senate? Still going? Okay. All right. Finally, where you're glad it's hard as the house. All right, good. Do you agree with that? I would say.
I was just looking to see if you got any things in your hands to throw.
Now let's look at this substitute to this. Okay.
I am John Wilkinson. I represent District 50 in the Senate, and I come to speak on behalf of Senate Bill 100, which would reestablish the Career and Technical Education Advisory Commission. it expired by sunset at the end of last year. It was established in 2006. If it's reestablished, it would be made up of 14 people, 4 members of the House appointed by the Speaker, 4 members of the Senate appointed by the President of the Senate, 3 non-legislative members appointed by the Governor, and 3 non-legislative members appointed by the State School Superintendent. They would meet at least once a year and hear a report from the State Director of Career and Technical Education, have the opportunity for input on relevant issues related to career and technical education. I feel like when this was in place that it served a good purpose, and again, I would urge your support of this bill.
Representative Maxwell, isn't it true this is similar to a bill you passed several years ago that's now expired? And you think it's a good bill? Yes. And who's carrying it for you in the House?
Representative Maxwell.
Very good. All right. All right. Any question? All right, Representative Maxwell, I'll let you make a motion if you'd like.
Mr. Chairman,
All right, do I hear a second? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, all opposed, like sign. Okay.
Thank you very much. Maybe I'll get back in time to make a couple more votes today.
Hey, good. How much longer y'all think it's going to be over there? 20 minutes? All right, we'll be ready. Any questions? Thank this committee so much for coming, and we stand adjourned.